Give it up for Robert Scoble, everybody.
Thank you.
Woo!
Wow. So if we talked about 12 years ago and somebody was coming up here and saying in the future we're going to have an information system where we can see the world passing by our screens. And can I have my screen up on the stage? I don't know if you can do that so the audience can see what I'm talking about. If not, I have Twitter in front of me. I have hundreds of thousands of people all on one screen, and I can watch the world happen in real time. And when I was one of the first Twitter users 12 years ago, people just didn't understand that we would soon be able to watch earthquakes in real time happening, and that we'd be able to watch the world's information coming by the screens. And I don't know why we're not getting my screen up here, so whatever. There we go. So this is how I watch the future coming by. And if there's one thing I want to give you, is I've spent thousands of hours building lists on Twitter of crypto, of artificial intelligence, of autonomous driving cars, of AR and VR, of investors, and of journalists. And these are all public lists. So you can watch the world go by in TweetDeck. I'm using TweetDeck here, and I don't know where it went again. But I'm using TweetDeck to watch the world go by in real time, and I can watch communities talk about the world. And it's very, very powerful. It's a good way for us to get educated on this world as it happens. In addition to that, for people who don't know who I am, I had the first ride in the first Tesla with Elon Musk. Siri was launched in my son's bedroom. I was the 79th user of Instagram, which was developed on a pier down here. I've interviewed thousands of people. I've worked at Microsoft and Fast Company. And so I get to see a world happening because I hang out with nerds who build the world. My best friend was one of the 12 guys who built the iPhone and now works at JP Morgan, so I'm understanding the world and how it's evolving. Just last night I was hanging out with a guy who got a PhD at Berkeley for car-to-car communications, and we started talking about what autonomous cars are gonna do in the future. So what is happening, what do I see happening with 2020? Let's talk about the world that could happen, and let me pull up some slides here. When you wake up in the morning, your glasses are gonna have digital displays. Now, you look at a Microsoft HoloLens, and this is way too heavy and way too expensive. But Apple has 1,200 engineers working on a pair. Magic Leap just got another $500 million to build a pair of these. They have $2 billion of investment so far. Microsoft has 1,000 people working on HoloLens. Google has another 1,000 people working on theirs. Facebook has been hiring people all over the world to build theirs. And from what I'm hearing from inside these companies, that around 2020, we're gonna get a pair of glasses that look closer to this than this, but that do more than what this does. And for people, how many people have had a HoloLens on their face before? A few here, yeah, because this is San Francisco, and we're the nerds of the world. When you wear this, you can augment the world. You can have aliens coming out of that wall. There's actually a game here. You can image that wall and have aliens coming through the wall, and you have to shoot them with your fingers. It's crazy, right? So when you start thinking about this kind of world where you have that kind of augmented reality in a pair of glasses this size, and it's going to know everything about what you're looking at because there's going to be eye sensors. I have a video of the guy who's building, one of the guys who's building eye sensors. It's going to know that you picked them up at 8:04 a.m. and that the average time for you to get into your car is about 18 minutes after you put the glasses on. So it's going to pre-fire a Zoox. Zoox is a new self-driving car company that's building a new kind of taxi system. Think of Uber, but without any drivers. And a Zoox is going to be pre-fired, be pre-delivered to your house within that 18 minutes, and it's going to be standing by for you. And you're going to get in there and go off. Now, think of all the cameras you're walking by. I already have an Amazon Alexa Show in my house. How many people have an Amazon Alexa Show in their house? Just a few people. That has a camera on it, and it's also connected, right? We can already start doing things with our connected things, right? Okay, Google, take me to the Internet Archive.
Please keep back from search.
That's a feature that hasn't yet been turned on Google Assistant. But soon you're going to be able to listen to every Grateful Dead concert and recording humans have ever done on Google Assistant just by talking to it. I'm beta testing that, and we can play with that a little later. You're going to walk by cameras. Now, why does it matter that cameras are becoming cheaper and cheaper and cheaper? Well, how many people have an Amazon app on their phones? Everybody. How many people have used the camera feature in the last week? Yeah, I've been asking nerds that in San Francisco, and it's amazing how few. For people who don't know what the current state of the art is, this is not 2020s. This is today. You open up the app, you open up the camera, and you aim it at something like a Macintosh, and you scan it. And it starts telling you all sorts of things. Here it caught the Facebook logo on my Mac and brings up all sorts of Facebook stuff. If I aim it at you, it'll bring up clothing that you're wearing on the Amazon, so I can buy the kind of sweater or hat that you're wearing. If I pass it by a Starbucks logo, it shows me all the Starbucks stuff that I can buy on Amazon. So now start thinking about having a camera on your face that you're looking at things and menus pop off of things. This has already happened to me because I've been inside the R&D labs of stuff that's coming in the next 24 months. When you walk into a new Amazon store now, how many people have been in one of the new Amazon stores that just opened a couple weeks ago? If you look over your head when you're in the store, there's hundreds of cameras and other sensors. They're watching every time you touch something in that store, every time you put it in a basket, every time you dwell in front of something, every time you're looking at something. And it's using that data to reorganize the store every day. Soon you won't need shopping, you won't need a grocery checkout, because as soon as you take the box of Cheerios off the shelf, it's starting to charge you and put it on your shopping receipt, right? And from what I hear, this video is not the world's most advanced. From what I hear, Amazon stuff is way more advanced than this demo that I pulled off of YouTube. But this gives you an idea of how the entire world is going to work soon. It's going to know who's in your house, how long they're in your house, what room they're in, what products they touch. It'll know that your milk is empty not by looking at the milk container, but knowing that every 35 pulls of the refrigerator door, you buy a new gallon of milk. We're going to change how cities work because of self-driving cars and cameras like this. My wife and I are looking at buying a new house, and already we're planning on our Tesla self-driving, like totally self-driving in the next 2 years. So now we can have a commute that's 30 minutes longer than we actually would like when we're driving a physical car. Because if the car is driving, now all of a sudden I can be working in the car and be okay with a longer commute than I could have, which saves us money or lets us buy a bigger house for the same amount of money. This is a real problem here in the San Francisco area, as you know. A house just sold in Sunnyvale for $2 million, a 1,000 square foot house. And if you can drive an hour and a half to Pescadero, you can buy the same house for $800,000. So that is a pretty big cost savings. But the problem is you have to drive an hour every day on the way to work and an hour home. That's 2 hours out of your day. If you can have a car that actually drives that, you can extend where you can live. We're going to change also parking lots. Why do you need parking lots if your car is out driving somebody else around, right? So I visited MIT, and they have a whole R&D lab for studying how cities are going to change with self-driving cars. What's going to happen to the parking lots? Well, we can turn those into housing and reduce the housing cost as well. This is the state of the art of the glasses. This is Ralph Osterhout over here across the street. He has a fab. He's been building devices for the military for more than a decade. He built the infrared night vision goggles for the military, and now he is building ODG's glasses. This is already a year and a half old, right? So think about, in a year and a half, what has he been able to do in terms of shrinking those glasses and making them nicer and cooler looking. Bose just announced a pair of glasses just this week that are pretty nice compared to these, right? You start thinking about all the revolutions we had, and I don't know why I'm getting a lot of flashing here. You can come up and try to fix that, I don't know. It looks like, well, maybe not. The phone brought so many new sensors and so many new ways of studying human beings. We know, I've seen the software where it knows that I'm holding it in my hand versus laying it on a desk just by the sensor fusion that's being done on the phones. So here I'm trying to show you walking around an airport with a phone. But the phone only knows stepping, and it knows a few things like radio strengths from Wi-Fi radios around the airport or around this building. In the future, your glasses are going to make a 3D mesh of this whole space, and it's going to know exactly where you are and where you're looking at something. This is how a self-driving car works. And if I can get that up, I'll pull up a video of how self-driving cars work. Soon we're going to have cars that drive through 3D space, are doing that object recognition that the store was doing, and it's still not working. That's interesting. That's not what I was expecting to see. All right, so there we go. Well, I don't know if that's going to pull down because it switched on me. But you can go to Waymo and watch how the car actually navigates through space using LiDARs, which are spraying laser light on everything and studying how far it is and doing object recognition so it knows that it's a kid crossing the street versus a bus versus a bike. And it's doing predictive software on every object on the street so it knows the likely next action of the kid on the bike or a car next to you or whatnot. And it knows the drivable surfaces on the street because it's seeing the world in 3D. When we get that with a pair of glasses, it's going to know exactly where you are and exactly what the surface is, and it's going to be able to tell that a pothole is forming in the street by us going over it multiple times with the glasses. It'll see how fast that pothole is generating. So we're starting to think about the 2020s. We're going to have self-driving cars. We're going to have glasses that put augmented reality on top of the real world and give us really amazing digital displays. Let's talk about entertainment. How is that going to change? I visited Oculus Story Studio here in San Francisco a few months ago, and they showed me a movie called Wolves in the Walls. It was just shown at Sundance. And the actor comes up to me and hands me a flashlight. I'm wearing VR glasses, so I'm seeing her, and I grabbed the flashlight from her. That's a first, right? Interactive actors. handing you things. And I shine it in her eyes, and it works like a real flashlight. And by the way, I spent 15 minutes just playing with a flashlight going, man, that is cool. Shining it in her eyes are looking at me like you're looking at me, right? So if I moved around, she would look at me. And she's talking to me with an AI. She says, follow me, and I can talk with her and say, I don't want to follow you. And she says, well, let's stand here then. And there's a Polaroid camera on a table next to me, and I grab that, and I look at that for a bit, and I take a picture with it, and a picture passes out, and I watch the picture develop. This is all in VR, right? You can experience some of this here in the hall. This is entertainment. We're going to be in the movies. We're not going to watch the movie anymore on a little screen. We're going to be in the movie. We're going to be interactive with the actors. We're going to be interactive with the things around us. We're going to be able to change the movie's direction by interacting with the actor, right? And that's coming really quickly. So I could go on for hours about what the changes are that's coming. And there's going to be a lot of downsides. Twitter brought us a lot of downsides. It brought us fake news. It brought us addiction at a whole new level. If you start watching the screen I'm watching, it's really addicting, and it causes problems with our brains because we were not evolved to look at that kind of rapid information that much. The world we're building is going to bring us some new problems of what the heck just happened to our privacy. That's already gone. What the heck is happening to our ethics? Because I don't know that you're not sitting here. I don't even know who you are. In 15 years, I'm not going to know. I'm not going to know that this is real or not. I've already given a speech like this in VR with people from around the world joining virtually. This is going to bring us a whole new level of problems, but a whole level of opportunities and jobs that will require a lot of creativity, and I think you guys are in the right place at the right time. So thank you very much.
Woo! Give it up again for Robert.